Folks, welcome into Degenerate Danger Zone. It is February 24th. I'm your host, Ty B, joined by Degenerate Al, and it is time to talk about some free money. A very interesting Wednesday within the Champions League and a surprise Europa League game. Just how everything should be. Spurs playing on Wednesday and Arsenal playing in Europa League Thursday, even though Spurs were in Europa today. But big win for them. A tough loss for Atalanta, who got an early red card and gave up a late goal in that one, and then a big win for Man City, Al.
Ty B, I feel like I'm Nate Geary right now down in, where is he at? Hilton Head, South Carolina. 52, 55 degrees in Buffalo today. Cracking a claw. Cheers to you, Nate. But, yeah, crazy Wednesday. Champions League was a little bit of a bummer for me. I was on Atalanta. I felt like I was on the right side, but like you said, red card in the 17th minute. And then who? Zapata goes down in the 30th with an injury. That's one of their best offensive players.
Yep.
So just a very upsetting, way to start the day. But hey, we got to bounce back tonight.
No, exactly. No one was on Man City unless you're using them in a parlay. They're minus 350, almost minus 400. So if anything, you were on that other game, and a late Real Madrid goal for a winner could have hurt a lot of people. So let's get that money back here, Al. What's your first game you're targeting here tonight?
So actually, I got a couple parlays lined up tonight. Is what I'm looking at here. The first one we'll start here. I'm staying in the NHL. We got an early game and a late game. First game I'm looking at, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Calgary Flames. Monday night, what do the Flames do? Shut out the high-powered Toronto Maple Leafs offense. I'm riding with that same thing today. I'm going Maple Leafs under 3.5 total goals. This is regular time, not going in OT. So I'm taking the under 3.5. And then Avs money line. At home, coming off a loss. That's where I'm going to be tonight. And that plays a 2-team parlay. Plus 151 odds all over that.
Absolutely. Al, I'll go with my first hockey play of the night. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Flyers to bounce back in this one. Getting everyone back and healthy finally from COVID. Still no Voracek, but everyone else back in the swing of things. Claude Giroux's played very well this year. You love to see the play from Joel Farabee coming out and making a little bit of a name for himself. You get Brian Elliott in net tonight. He's 3-1 on the season, a 2.24 goals against average. So he's playing pretty good hockey, going up against Igor Shesterkin, who's been a bit up and down for the Rangers. I like the Flyers in this one. You can get them at a pretty good spot there, around minus 130, minus 135. So I'm riding with Philly in this one, especially with no Panarin for the Rangers.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on the same way that I was going through my hockey leans today. Avalanche, Flames, and then same thing. I definitely like the Flyers, getting some value there. It's unfortunate. I mean, my play over the weekend with you was I thought they were going to bounce back and get their first win against Boston. What happens? They get pounded once again. They're now 0-5 against the Bruins this year. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, it's unreal. Like I don't think Boston is necessarily like as good even as the record shows. I think they've gotten lucky in a lot of these games. You play Philadelphia coming off of the COVID concerns and everything else, and then having to travel out west for the first time all year. It's an interesting recipe, and it was not a recipe for much success for the Flyers.
No, not at all. And I'm going to go with parlay number 2 tonight that I'm looking at. I know it's a game we were checking in last night. It was the Cavaliers who what? How many games in a row did they not cover a spread? Was it 12?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and they ended up winning outright last night over the Hawks. Tonight, I'm taking them again. They're at home, but going to save myself a little there. I think they're around +4, +4.5 at home. I'm bouncing them up to 10.5. And then I know I'm fading you on this one, Ty B. Arkansas taking on Alabama, a funky line there. You have the top 10 team in the country, Alabama, who is +2, taking on Arkansas. I'll take Arkansas and bump them up a little bit to 4.5. You can get that 2-team parlay at -107 odds.
Yeah, I'll tell you absolutely why you got to ride on Alabama in this one. Alabama smoked Arkansas the first time, and that's saying it very nicely after a 31-point win, a 90-59 victory in that game. And you look at their last game, they failed to cover in that game. I think it only ended up being a 3-4 point victory. They couldn't shoot from behind the three. I think they were like a 30% from behind the 3-point arc. during the regular season, they have 5 players on their team who are shooting over 40% from behind the arc. That's going to bounce back tonight. I don't care that they're on the road in Arkansas. Arkansas has been playing a lot better since when you look at where they were the first time they played. Yes, but I don't think Musselman and his flexing with his shirt off in the locker room is going to get this team off enough to shut down Petty and Shackelford and Quinterly. Even Herbert Jones has been playing very well, averaging almost 12 points for them. So they're getting contributions all up and down that lineup. And if they're shooting, there's no team in the country that can play with them. I don't care about Gonzaga. I don't care about Baylor. This team can beat anyone in the country when that 3-point ball falls because they're starting to learn to play that defense, and that defense is creating open opportunities for them, and that's why they're hitting so many threes. It's that old style that we saw from Oates when he was here in Buffalo, and they finally figured out how to make it work down there in Tuscaloosa.
No, it's a great point, Ty B. You're right. When that team can shoot, they can shoot. But I'm telling you right now, in an NCAA tournament, if they go cold the game, boom. They're top 10 right now for a reason. Like you said, shooting the 3-ball. I mean, lights out. They're putting up stupid numbers. I've looked in some box scores with 3-pointers, but like, I do not like them when it comes to March Madness. I really don't. Tonight, different story. But when it gets to March Madness, I don't know if I can trust that team because if they're cold from 3,
yeah. Well, they were cold from 3, and they still put up 80 points, Al. What does that tell you? They're still figuring it out. They're rebounding. They're hustling.
Yep.
They're doing the things that you need to do. It's not this lazy Alabama team we've seen the past few years. Petty's really stepped up here in his senior season, and you got like Quinterly has been a great addition for them. And I mean, Jaden Shackelford is a guy you're going to have to be looking out down the pipeline going into the NBA. This kid's come in and he's just been phenomenal for him.
And it's weird for Vegas to adjust with these over-unders because you got an Alabama team that can, one, shoot the 3 and can also play some defense. And it's still, look at that over-under, 157.5. That goes to show you that you're right. Any given night.
Yeah, because it's going to be 150 again.
Exactly. I mean, look at the points last night. UB and who took down Central? Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
They had 78 points with 11 minutes left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
It's that point in the season where you're going to see some of these teams who are down in the dumps, like nothing to really play for, where they're just going to get absolutely smoked out of the gym because these other teams are trying to peak at the right time heading into their conference tournaments and all that. So that's why we're seeing this right now, and I absolutely love it. It's creating for some matchups where you can really go and find some money. I mean, UB was covering that game, like 5 minutes in, and I don't think they led by less than 12 points the entire game.
Yep. No, it drives me nuts that you either got to text a friend in Pennsylvania, text a friend in New Jersey,
or someone with a bookie, or
drive to the goddamn border of Pennsylvania and pull over at the McDonald's to place a bet on UB Sports.
No, absolutely. And that's why they continue to put the pressure on down there in Albany. We need to get them back in, and they need to get voting on this, whether it's I don't care if it's a single lotto system at this point, because that probably means they're at OTBs. And guess what? There's OTBs all over the place, and they'll stop closing because people are going to be in there like kids in the candy store. Like, it's going to be amazing if that'll happen. I can't wait. I'd love going into OTBs to begin with, just because of all the degenerate old guys and when they got their papers and they're smacking their asses trying to get the horses to go. It's my favorite thing. So if I can see that while I'm betting on like an NBA game or something, I can't wait.
And I just think of Kramer in that Seinfeld episode. Giddy up, baby. Come on. I mean, we'd be absolutely going nuts. And I mean, Ty B, so clearly if that does get legalized and we can, online bet, we'll be able to bet UB clearly, right? I mean, that's just no brainer.
That's still probably unlikely.
Really?
That's sort of one of the things I think the state wants to keep out. That's one of the hurdles, and that's why it didn't get in the first resolution. I don't think it's going to end up coming in this one. Possibly down the line they might figure it out, but I mean, you look at some of the states that do have it fully legalized and online, they still can't.
Damn. All right. Well, that's super frustrating, but let's get into real quick tomorrow. It's one of my favorite sports to bet right now. WGC at the Concession 2021. I am fired up. Big time golf tournament. And as you can see on the bottom of this screen, a ton of big names, Ty B.
Oh, no, absolutely. Between that and then you got the Puerto Rico Open, absolutely ton of golf this weekend. I mean, you're looking at all the big names pretty much are at the WGC, and then
Yep.
everyone else who's like trying to make a name for themselves is at the Puerto Rico Open. And thank God Victor Hovland broke the curse and finally like won the Puerto Rico Open, and then actually won another tournament. He's the first person to ever do it. Like everyone's joked about how Tony Finau, won the Puerto Rico Open, and he's always there, second, third place, and like ends up
Yep.
losing it late at the end. But it looks like that curse is broken. So we'll see. I think there's going to be a ton of great golf. We're getting into Masters season, so guys are looking to start picking up on their schedule a little bit.
Yeah, and I saw a tweet today that said since 2016 at these WGC events, 9 of 18 winners have had 15-1 or shorter odds.
Yeah.
Which is, it looks to me like favorite city. Obviously, Rahm 8-1, DJ 5.5-1. There's no value there. But you're looking at the bottom of the screen. Finau is so close to breaking through again to get another win. Justin Thomas is 16-1. You rarely see that as well. So I love some of these golfers here in the teens. And when's DeChambeau going to wake up? Oh my God. Last weekend was horrible once again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because some of these guys, with last season and them having to take time off differently, and the way the season ended, and you're still trying to get your off time, like get some time with the family, everything else, and trying to get back into peak condition and play as many rounds as you can now. And on some guys right away, like it takes a minute to get back into the swing of things, if you will. But I mean, he's going to bounce back. He's going to figure it out. Bryson's basically a robot when it comes
Yeah.
down to it. Like he's probably got them swing tracking him all the time. But I think I'm going to put my money on Finau, Al.
Yeah, I love that.
Great tournament last weekend. I think he's got the fire under him. I think he's ready to break through.
Oh my God, he had so many chances last weekend. He had two friggin' putts to close the deal. That was a super frustrating weekend. But Ty B, I think that's it. I mean, I know, like you said, Puerto Rico Open. We got this golf tournament coming this weekend. LPGA as well. I think it's another UFC Saturday. So massive, massive weekend ahead once again. And we're almost rolling into I could not imagine if we could be in person. But my favorite time of year, March Madness, conference tournaments. So it's going to be a fun month ahead.
No, absolutely. We got Creek Degenerate here saying hammer Jim Furyk in the Champions Tour. So make sure you don't miss out on that one. It's all the old guys. That's where Phil Mickelson goes, so he can get a little bit of some pay, so he can pay off his gambling debts once in a while. Because he's the best, he's the most in shape. Everyone else is old as hell, like decrepit, and he's like still on tour. Just like take an easy week.
Give me David Duval, whatever his odds are.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up for us here on Degenerate Danger Zone. Make sure you get out there. It doesn't matter whether it's the Creek, online, you're calling in, texting in, hammer your bookies. Go get that free money from Ty B, myself, and Degenerate Al. Good night now. Click it, Al.